Hey, beautiful people. My name is Tiara Sharma. I am your favorite mental health mentor, and I help women live free from stress by teaching them emotional wellness skills so that they can have better relationships with their families. And you are joining me for another broadcast of Restore Hearts TV broadcast, where we combine faith and mental health to provide holistic education that empowers men and women to live free from mental illness. And we are continuing with our video testimonials from our corporate fast called Surrender Your Ear. It's our 21-day hearing fast with the Holy Spirit. And we have a video testimonial today from one of my favorites. It is the generational change agent herself, Miss Ayana Henderson. And so she's going to come on. She is no stranger to the broadcast. This is her second corporate fast. And we are just so blessed to have her to come on and testify about how God is continuing to move in her life as a result of this corporate fast. So we're going to bring her on now. Hey, Ayana.
How are you?
I am great. I'm so happy, so excited that you'll come here to share with us again. And as I was telling you before, we came onto the broadcast, like, your testimony just makes me weep on the inside. It makes me weep on the inside because, there were so many things. There were things that, the Lord told you to give up during this fast. Some known, some unknown, personal to you and the Lord. But just the things that you were able to share that you gained from the fast. I'm like, God, this is what it's all about. So I'm like, the work of the Lord is moving forward. I'm just so blessed and honored for your testimony. So thank you so much once again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Let's get it started. All right. So for those of y'all who have not seen Ayana's testimony on social media, I'm going to read her testimony before we get started with the questions. And so you said, this corporate fast has transformed my faith walk, building on the foundation of my previous fast. God first revealed how to break demonic covenants over my bloodline, expanding my spiritual warfare toolkit. This time, I gained even more, learning how to protect my home and family from unseen threats. I've deepened my prayer life and am so grateful for what God is doing through Tiara in this fast. Listen, I could have threw the phone at this corporate fast has transformed my faith walk.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, okay, but I'm not gonna go there. We're gonna be protocol. We're gonna stay protocol till you come in here and move that thing, right?
You see what I'm saying?
Listen, it's such a beautiful testimony. So I just want to go back with our first question. You kind of gave a little bit more context to your testimonial, kind of, in another setting. So you said, I used to look at fasting as an individual act,
right?
Not something that can be built upon. Can you talk about the moment you realized that God was intentionally building from your previous fast? Like, what did that moment look like for you?
I think it was like day 2, where you were kind of like, and this is what Holy Spirit said we were going to deal with during this fast. And then it was like portals and witchcraft and altars. I said, come on, God, you are in my business right now. You are in my business. And a few years ago, I had asked God, I said, I want to learn more. This is going to, I'm going to say it how I said it to God. And then y'all take it how y'all take it. But I was like, God, I want to learn more about witchcraft so I can be more aware of when it's happening, because I'm hearing more conversations about Christians not really being knowledgeable about certain attacks. And I'm like, but I want to learn it in a way that doesn't bring me down the rabbit hole of witchcraft also. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be studying this, and I'm opening up my own things because I just want to learn, and I'm being ignorant to or not sensitive to the spirits, that can be accessed just in your own studying and wanting to learn more from a place of wanting to protect your family. So I'm like, God, you're going to have to craft this in a way, because you know I'm a student at heart. You know I'm going to want to know what I know, what I know, what I know. And you know I can go down a rabbit hole trying to know what I know. Because when I regurgitate it, when I share it with the people, I have to share it from a place of knowing. You know, as my daddy would say, it's in my knower. I need to know these things. And so this was years ago that I had asked him that, just because I wanted to be more aware. And he didn't answer that prayer until your fast. So it wasn't even answered until then. And that's when I knew, like, okay, so fasting, when you're intentional about it, like you're not just, I hear Christians all the time, like, I'm just going to fast, I'm just going to fast, I'm just going to fast. But I'm like, okay, what is the intentionality behind it? Like, what are we doing here? Because I've also seen the vanity of fasting with, you know, Christians, with believers. And so because last time we dealt with covenants and demonic influences and contracts and oaths and all these different things that could run through us because of our bloodline, this to me was the second layer of like, okay, so I understand covenants, contracts, oaths. I understand how we can enter blood covenants and things from our past, from our ancestors. Okay, but there's also current things that are happening, songs, TV, food, activities, all these things that we could be coming into agreement with. Like I learned a lot, like our fast timed, like it ended, I think, just before Halloween, like that season, if I'm not mistaken. And because I went through the first fast and then the second fast built upon like witchcraft, I understood Halloween a little bit more in terms of how you can come into agreement by giving candy, by dressing in the costumes, by decorating your house, by watching the movie. I already knew about watching the movies, but it just, you know what I'm saying? Like it just was in my spirit now. It wasn't just a head thing. It wasn't just intellect. It was now in my spirit of understanding. And that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I got out of it. And that's how I saw, oh, these things can build upon each other if you're intentional about how you do it. So long-winded answer, but that's it.
No, that's good. That's good because I think you brought up such a beautiful point because I think maybe a lot of people maybe think that, and even it made me pause and be like, wow, God, like, okay, you're actually building upon that because I see that within the fast, like how he builds us up within the 21 days, but then how each subsequent fast can build from the previous one. I'm just like, come on, God, he's so intentional.
So
Intentional. My God. And yeah, I love that you brought up that fact about how, listen, you ain't about to have me on here crying. I'll end the broadcast. No, but you know, it just waiting on God.
Yeah.
Waiting on God's timing. Because you said that this was a question when it came particularly to witchcraft that you had asked God for years. Like, and we ain't known each other. We probably known each other maybe a couple of years, maybe.
Yeah.
So this is something that you had talked to God about before you probably even knew me.
Yeah.
But how he will bring that thing back around full circle and bring it exactly when you need it and exactly when you're ready. And I want to bring this point up because I think that for me, I used to be exactly like that, Ayana. I used to be exactly like that. I want to know it. I want to know that I know it. And when I give it to you, I want to know where I knew it from and all. But the Lord has really just been breaking me down in the fact that I only want to know by his spirit to get that knowledge and information. Like reading James chapter 3 right now, it just sticks so much in my spirit. When James talks to us about the 4 different types of wisdom. You have wisdom that comes from God. You have wisdom that comes from the world. You have wisdom that comes from essential wisdom. It comes from the intellect. And then you have demonic wisdom. Once I got that revelation, I'm like, okay, God, I could be accurate in a lot of things, but who was the source?
Right.
And what spirit? In what spirit am I speaking this knowledge? And so for me, I had to go and renounce all of those other realms of knowledge worldly knowledge, intellectual knowledge, demonic knowledge, however it came in. I have literally renounced all of that over my life, and I come to God with a fresh set of eyes, a fresh heart, fresh ears. Like, God, give me your understanding, your wisdom about this topic, no matter what I think I know about it. And it is from that place. Because, like you said, there could be this rabbit hole of just information. Listen, all you got to do is turn on your phone. And you have so much information and knowledge at your fingertips. But who sent that word?
Right.
And what spirit is it being offered? I'm going to stop. I'm going to let you talk because I'm talking a lot. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. Like, I'm learning about, I think between both, I think I've adopted the spirit of like, Harpo, who this woman? Like, who sent you? Who sent this knowledge? Because like, I'm very mindful now. It's like, as a new believer, it was about, who was popular, and I was following their word. And I'm not saying that any of these people were, demonic influences or anything like that. But I think as I've just as I mature in my faith, I'm very mindful of who wrote it. What are they trying to convey? Because everybody has, no matter if you're apostle, prophet, all the names that are being thrown out there now, we all have a motive. We all have a lane. We all have an angle of information. Even when I do my stuff, I'm coming to it with a certain motive, with a certain intent. And so it's like, I only want to be sharing from the place that you told me to share from. And the only way I can do that is if I tap into you, God. And I'm like, when you tell me to share this, I will share it. But if it's something that I feel like I just want to do, I don't know that, I'll know if it's Holy Spirit led or if it's just, I'm trying to, I'm saying? I'm trying to force something. So I think I'm a little more sensitive to that now too, in terms of what's coming out of my mouth. Because when you get into these spaces like you're in, I have warrior womanhood. So even in that space, I'm responsible for a lot of souls and what I convey to them. And so, it's knowing what you know, but it's also making sure you're in alignment with God allowing you to say the thing at that time and in that space. So,
my gosh, it's another level of responsibility and accountability to the Lord. Phew, my God. Amen. All right, we're going to move right along. All right. You said this corporate fast has transformed my faith walk. Come on. Mic drop. Building on the foundation of my previous fast.
Mm-hmm.
You give us an example of how your faith walk has been transformed as a result of this fast.
I think, to your point at the beginning of this interview, and even before we were talking, I was in battle the whole fast, like the whole 21 days. And there were times where I couldn't actively be on the call because I needed to be in God's presence. So I would watch the replay. And years ago, like 2016, 2017, my mother-in-law at the time, she would talk to me about soaking in the Lord's presence. And she would always send me these YouTube videos of just soaking music. And I never quite understood it. I was probably a year and a half in my faith, so I didn't even know what that meant. So I just kind of like saved a playlist. And we got to this fast, and all I could do was soak. All I could do was, and I mean, there were days where the whole day, that's all I was doing, is just in his presence. And, he would reveal things to me, like I shared with you about the woman with the issue with blood, and how he showed me you have to make a choice, even in your warfare, of what you're going to do. Like, what are you going to choose to believe, right? Because our warfare is really at least in my case, I was fighting two belief systems. And he's like, just like her, she had to make a choice to actually leave her home. She knew she was going to be in public. She knew she was going to be exposed. But the cost of not doing it and staying in her issue for however many more years versus however long it took her to go through and forge her way to not even touch Jesus. She just knew she only needed the most smallest part of his garment. And so now it's like, it requires me, like my faith now requires me to forge through. And that means I make the choice to be exposed. I make the choice to push through the crowd, to push through the world, to push through society, to push through culture, and constantly fight my way to get to the him. Because even when I touch the him, he's going to know it because he's going to feel it. And so what empowers me to do that is to soak. But I wouldn't have soaked without having been in the spiritual warfare that I was experiencing while doing the fast. So it's like he keeps bringing back seeds that were planted so many years prior. And now that, some of them are getting exposed. Like now there's fruit. Now I can see why, I have that playlist, because I went right back to it. And I was like, I remember she gave this to me. And I was just like sobbing and weeping. And there is a different kind of presence that I can access now that I couldn't access before, because it was the warfare, learning about like witchcraft and portals and understanding how that impacts your life and seeing the two come together to force me into the presence of God. Like, I'm always talking about Jesus in mathematical terms, and that's what it looks like for me. Like the warfare had to exist. My question of asking about witchcraft had to exist for me to be forced to come to God. So sometimes we're looking at our circumstances and our situations and we're like, God wouldn't allow this. Why not? He wanted me to soak. So the only way that I could get to him through soaking and really just being in his presence, no distractions, just me, just the music, was I had to be put in situations in which the spiritual warfare was so strong and so heavy and so thick that I was battling my way through life. Then get education and understanding about what is also happening. Get some biblical language and knowledge and context. Take both and say, but God, and just be in his presence. So when we're talking about like your spiritual toolkit, and we're talking about the foundations of your faith walk, like what do you have in place when you're thinking about building a house? You have to have cement. You have to have, the like foundational, the support beams and all the different things before you can even start to really build and have this beautiful home that God can live in. He's like, yeah, no, I need you to learn how to soak. I need you to learn how to pray. I need you to learn what can attack you. What are the spirits? I need you to learn how to break, influences and covenants and contracts that you didn't even know about. And in the first two, I now have a different spiritual, like I had a spiritual toolkit before of things I could do, but now I have a spiritual warfare kit, and that's completely different. It's completely different. Because how you just pray in your regular everyday life, praying for people, intercessory prayer, all those different things, that's like your spiritual toolkit. But when you have an influence that's over your home or, attacking one of your family members or yourself, or you're just experiencing a series of things that you're just like, okay, this is beyond just normal wear and tear of life. This is like, I'm always mindful of naming a season, but you hear a lot of believers say, like, I've been in a Job season. How do you show up in that season? That's a different toolkit. When you feel like God is taking everything away from you, when you feel like it's one thing after another, after another, after another, when you feel like you can't even breathe and you're just waking up for the day, that requires a different level of tools. And so in this fast, that's what I got. I got a different level of tools to work with when I feel like I'm in a season where things are just happening way beyond my control and it's too much at one time. So, God is good.
Listen, I know I got this poker face, but I feel a shout on the inside of me. That is so good. Oh my God. So I heard you say I needed a new set of tools. And this fast gave me a new set of tools. Like, because I was able to soak in his presence, because I was able to, the circumstances, they weren't what I wanted. But because of it forcing me into the presence of God, God was able to give me exactly what I needed.
Yeah. And now I just have it. Now it became my regular routine of like, yeah. It was good. It was hard to go through, but it was good.
It was hard to go through.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Right.
And it was necessary.
Very.
And it produced everything she needed on the other side.
Yeah.
See, because sometimes we try to run away from that stuff that we already know we don't have to go through something.
Right.
But the longer we run from solution. Because he has all our answers.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
You got anything else? Because that's okay. We're gonna move on. Good. That was good. That was good. Okay. So you learned how to protect your home and family from unseen threats. Mm-hmm. How has this knowledge empowered you to confidently take authority of the atmosphere of your home and the environments that you are in?
So two things, but the first one was, again, the woman with the issue of blood. And so at the same time, God was showing me dominion and authority. And there are things that God has given us, he was teaching me submission and dominion. And he was showing me there are things that you do submit to. But then there are a lot of things that I've given you authority over, right? When you're in a relationship, you submit to one another, in marriage. There are different types. You submit to me, the Holy Spirit. You know what I'm saying? You're yielding whatever it is that you want, you desire to my will. You submit those things onto me. You cast your cares onto me, all those things. He said, but then I've given you dominion over a lot. And that's your ability to have and take authority over a thing. And then you can use it, for my will, for my good, for my glory. And I'll give you steps in terms of how to use it, but you have complete authority over that thing. When he gives us children, we have authority over the children. When he gives us our work, we have authority over that work. We still submit in relationship to him in terms of how we carry it out, but we have the authority. So when I think about the things that I want to do in my business, I'm like, these are things that I want to do. These are the things that I think, can help transform lives. And then I give it to God and he says, okay, do it this way, this way, this way, and this way. Right. So when he was sharing with me, the woman with the issue of blood, he said she forgot that she had dominion over her healing. She went 12 years to all these people in the world who couldn't help her. And the moment she decided to have dominion, take full authority over her healing, she forged through the crowd and she went to Jesus. And he said, the same thing is for your life. When I give you a home, when I give you a car, when I give you a job and you get a paycheck, you have full authority over how that plays out in your life. And at the time, I wasn't having issues in the home that I'm in, but I was just feeling disconnected. I was frustrated with some of the things that were happening. And I'm in transition from being a married woman to being a single woman. So there were a lot of things that I have to take on that I didn't have to do, right? So it's just compounded frustration, figuring out how to work the lawnmower, trying to take care of a yard. And it's not that I can't do it. I just hadn't done it in so long. I just relied on, my husband at the time to take care of it. And so God was like, well, that's just it. A lot of the things you're experiencing because you haven't taken authority over the situation and the circumstances. You haven't taken authority over the property. You haven't taken authority over the assets. You haven't taken ownership of the place that you're in. Instead, you're venting and complaining to me about what you can and cannot do. When I've given you authority over the things, but you keep submitting them to me, and I'm not going to do anything about it because I gave you authority over it. So nothing is going to change until you take authority over it. So when she took authority over her healing, when she took authority over the fact that she no longer wanted to bleed, when she said, I'm going to accept being exposed, when she said, I'm going to accept having to forge through the crowd, well, I'm going to have to accept being seen as unclean, just so I can get as close as I can as Jesus is walking past, enough to believe that when I touch the hem, that things will change. That was authority. That was taking dominion over. And so when she touches it, he recognizes that somebody touches her, says, who's touched me? He feels things. He feels the power leave his body. He approaches her. And what does she do? And I call this like that Eminem, that 8 Mile moment, where you tell your whole entire business. You put all your business in the streets. And what does he say to her as a result of her taking dominion over her story, over her journey, over her healing, over her circumstances, over her symptoms? He blesses her. And so when I was thinking about this home, I found out that the people who lived before us had an altar in the home. This is why I'm telling you this fast was so timely. He had an altar in the home. He had skulls outside the house that were hanging on the house. And they were like, the neighbor said she believes they were like fake human skulls, but also like real animal skulls. And I was able to research like the name of the person who lived here before. And a lot of his pictures had the filter of like the devil ears and, blacked out eyes and, things like that. And I'm like, after the first fast, God specifically told me to come to this house and pray in it before we ever moved. And I did that. And then we get in the house and I'm just getting attacked, like cars breaking down, toilets aren't working properly, paychecks I'm living, like they're being stretched. Like, some paychecks, I got 50 cents in the bank and I got a family of 5 that I got to feed. And I'm like, God, what is this? Like, why is this? This isn't like struggling to make ends meet. This is beyond the struggle to make ends meet because I got 3 flat tires in 2 weeks. Like, car was breaking down, was no longer going to pass the emissions test. So I now need a new car. The toilets aren't working. I'm renting. So I have to rely on the maintenance system for the people to come out, look at it. Then they tell me it's tenant responsibility. I've only been in the place for like 3 weeks. How is it this issue preceded me? So now I'm having to learn how to plumb. I'm having to learn how to do HVAC. I'm having to learn how to do landscaping. My car is breaking down. I'm barely making ends meet. And I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to feed my children. When you're talking about, just life, it's beyond lifing, right? God is like, well, you haven't really taken authority over your circumstances. That's why this is happening, right? So I'm now the woman with the issue with blood. I'm now month by month dealing with all these symptoms. And he's like, so at what point are you just going to take authority over your situation? When are you going to walk around your property now that you know what you know and bless the property? When are you going to take ownership, even if it's a rental, of the property that you live in? Because you're going to be in this for the duration of your lease. So you at least need to take ownership for that long. and see what you can do. And he's like, you have options for the vehicle. So are you just going to have a pity party, or what are we going to do? And so as soon as I started to take authority over these things, walking around my property, figuring out, YouTube University, lawnmower, hiring somebody to take care of the lawn, humbling myself to ask for help. All of these different things was taking authority over my situation and my circumstances. How to make the best out of a job, even though you had to take a pay cut. So how do you make that work? How do you see and stand in what God has told you to do, and believe and trust that every month he's going to make it work? Every month requires me to touch the hem of his garment. Every month. But I wouldn't have understood the importance of it without understanding that story from a different context. And then putting it together with my circumstances. And if I didn't have an understanding of spiritual warfare, the skulls being hung up outside wouldn't, well, they're not living here, so it don't matter. It's still on the home. It's still on the home. Even though he left, it's still on the home. So you got to continuously pray against this, because they were all portals. So you now have to go out and bless the nails. You have to put holy oil on that. You have to transform your gateways and access into the home. And that's what I mean about the toolkit, the foundation, like all these things. It just, I can't even say it blew my mind, because it's like, it's God. It's just like, it's God. That's it. That's all I can say. Like, it's just been God.
You're doing your good testifying.
Listen.
Your good preaching. Oh my God. Listen, I love what you said. You said so much. But when you said that he's gone, but it's still on the house. See, you need to preach it. Preach it. You need to preach it. He's gone.
Right.
But it's still on the house.
Right.
But even though, see, that's not for believers, we shouldn't be afraid. But if we don't have that toolkit, if we don't know what we should be doing in response to that, if we don't even recognize it as a threat, like some stuff is just going, it goes back to Hosea 4:6. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge. And this is not knowledge. This ain't YouTube University knowledge we're talking about. We talked about James chapter 3 in the beginning. This is wisdom that comes from the Lord. Because when you have a relationship and intimacy with God, he can illuminate those things to you. Like where you thought it wasn't an issue that the skulls were up, he can talk to you about that. If you have an ear to hear, if you're surrendered in that way, he can say, hey, I know you don't think there's a problem, but listen, those are access points. Those are portals by which the enemy can access this home. And I need you to take authority over that. I need you to plead the blood of Jesus over that. I need you to say, hey, not in my house.
Right.
Not in my rental house. Hey, whatever. Like, and I love that you said that, because even as you said that, it might not be my house, but it's the house that I'm going to be in. It's my house for the duration of this lease. To me, that speaks preparation. That speaks preparation. It just reminds me of Joseph, how he did in all those different situations, when he was in Potiphar's house, when he was in, his own father's house, when he was in these different places, he was preparing. And he had to be faithful over something that belonged to another man before he came into his own. And so how are you stewarding what God has given you?
Right.
Are you taking authority over the situation, or are you just saying, oh, that ain't my problem? I don't own that. Ownership. My God. See,
because what it is when you don't, It's a rejection of God's provision. That's really it. You know what I'm saying?
My God.
Imagine you praying to God. Mom, 4 kids. I need a safe place to live. I don't know the state that I'm in that well. I need to stay in the area. I do want the kids to go to a better school. So perhaps maybe we move into a different school cluster. And I am in between jobs because I got laid off. And I already submitted an application that got approved at the rate that I was getting paid at. And I have no recent pay stubs. So I can't go to a new management company because I don't have current pay stubs. So imagine you praying this prayer. And then God makes a way. He finds you a home in a better school district. It's 20 minutes further past where you used to live. So it's a little bit of a commute. But safe neighborhood, good neighbors, quiet, not a lot of activity. Kids go to a good school, and they were able to decrease your rent to make it affordable for the income that you had already provided. Then I get in home and I complain, I don't want this. There's too many problems. There's too many issues. I got to mow the lawn. I have to put in all these requests for them to fix the toilet. I got to clean the pet hair up. But he answered your prayer. He gave you everything that you asked for. It just came with you having to use a little bit of elbow grease. And that was me at the beginning. I was rejecting his provision. It was just like, this is not what I wanted. This is not working. That's why I say it was tough. When I talk about like the battle of my own beliefs, the 2 belief systems that I'm battling, I'm upset, and I got all these other things going on. And it's just like, and it gets to a point where it's like you either want what God gave you because you prayed for it, and he gave you what you asked for. But because in your mind you pictured something else, now you want to reject his provision and believe that God is not good, or he's not for you, or you're frustrated with God, or now you want to have an attitude. Now you want to act spoiled and bratty. Well, then you should have changed your prayer. What you asked for was a safe home and a better school district that was affordable. I gave you that. Now, if you wanted all these extra amenities, well, you should have included that in your prayer. And that was one of the other things that this fast taught me. Get so specific with what you pray for. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you're praying against spiritual attacks, please say all the things that you are experiencing in the prayer. If you're praying for some type of provision or blessing, be specific. Because God he can give you what you ask for as long as you ask for it. And I was just like, yeah. Yeah.
I'm leaving it right there. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it right there. Because you said, listen, are you rejecting God's provision? He answered your prayers. But just because it didn't turn out exactly the way you envisioned it, he gave you everything. If you look at it, he gave you every single thing you asked for. And you said just because you got to put a little elbow grease in there, now God ain't good. Now he ain't answering your prayers.
Listen, God corrected me something serious over these past 2. He's humbled me so much over these past 2 fasts. Like the level of humility now. I always feel weird talking about humility, but it's this place of like, I don't even know how to describe it. You know, it's beyond just being grateful for having a roof over our heads. But I watch him every month. I'm never been late for rent. The kids have always had food on the table. Now, whether they like it or not, that's not my issue. The food is on the table. Okay. But we've had no major issues. Everybody's health is intact. Kids are doing well in school. They're making the adjustments being in a new school system. Like they're doing athletics. The boys are learning to adult. I have authority over my home. We're having regular family meetings. We're actually operating as a family unit. Like my oldest son is helping my daughter with math. Like all these different things that just weren't happening before. So why would I reject that? Because it doesn't look how I want. I asked for a sitting porch. I got a sitting porch. I just don't sit on it. God's like, that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? Like for my kids, the food is on the table. Now, whether you like the food or not, I don't know. It's there. But like the moment you pray for something and God makes that provision, and it's not just financial provision, it's relationships too. And then you reject it because it doesn't look like what you think it should look like. God is kind of like, well, that don't make no sense for me to give you nothing else. Why would I do that? You rejecting you rejecting everything that I send. You know, it's that story about the guy on the boat and he needed to be rescued. And God kept sending all the things. And he was like, no, I'm waiting on you. And God's like, I sent me. And I sent it in this way, this way, this way, and this way. And you was like, no, 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 no. So surely you must be ready to die. Surely you must be ready to suffer. Because I've sent the provision. And because it didn't look like how you thought, you miss it. Like you keep rejecting me. And then coming back and asking me for help. And then you keep rejecting me. And God is like, I'm only going to be rejected so many times. Like, do you, boo? When you ready, come back. But yeah, we can't reject his provision after he sent it simply because it doesn't look like. And that's like that beautiful piece about the fast. And what I love about surrendering your ear, because you have this unique ability to increase your discernment. You know, you're praying for these things, you're wanting to hear from God, but you don't quiet yourself long enough to see if who he sent was the provision, to see if what he gave you was the provision, to see if the way that, I don't know how many times I've shifted my budget. There have been times where I'm like, I don't know how we're going to make it meet. And then because he knows how he made me, he has me sit down. I love me a good spreadsheet. Ooh, I love me a good spreadsheet. Okay. He will have me sit in front of my budget. I still do my Excel, like I still do an Excel budget. And he has me see where I can shift things around to give me an extra couple of $100 to buy food, to get gas, to do whatever it is, to make it work. But I have to sit long enough. And that's what this fast requires you to do, to sit long enough and have a conversation with God, be it in your heavenly language or not. And it's like, I think, yeah, a lot of people could benefit from a true surrendering of their ear because they gain so much. Yeah. Sorry. That's long.
Ma'am.
That's long.
Ma'am. No, this is so good. I mean, I just hope that the people are hearing what the Spirit of the Lord is saying, because I can't go into everything that I'm hearing. I'm hearing so much. It's like Holy Spirit party up in here right now. But we gotta keep it moving. We gotta keep it moving, people.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Listen, I encourage you, every single person who will listen to this broadcast, to put it on repeat and to just sit with God. If you ain't gonna join us for the next fast now, because you could still do that. You could join us for this December.
Okay, sure can.
December 3rd through December 24th, 2024, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will be having our final corporate fast of this 2024 calendar year. And so you can still join us. But if you decide not to join us, you can, come back to this broadcast. And just for real, get your journal, get your pen, and just ask the Lord, like, Lord, what are you saying to me as a result of what's being shared today?
That part.
Like, speak to me about what I'm hearing right now. This is how you practice hearing God. So I would encourage you, because I'm hearing so much right now. But as I said, we got to keep going, because I still got a couple questions to ask this woman of God, and I want her to get to them. So you said, I've deepened my prayer life. Can you talk about how your prayer life has deepened as a result of this?
I think I kind of already alluded to it, but it's like I'm just way more specific now. Like, there are some times where I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready. Like, oh man, I think I'm ready to pray for this, but I'm not ready yet. And I still talk it out with God because I want to be so specific about it. It's not about perfection. It's not about saying the right thing. Hi, Anaya. It's not about saying the right thing or the right timing. I don't want that message to be conveyed. But because I'm learning to be specific about what I ask for. And like, I'll ask before I ask, especially like if I'm leading up to the prayer. It's like, I had some challenges with my Anaya because she's 14 and we're in the throes of teenage years, right? And we haven't even gotten to like the working teenager, the boyfriend teenager, the curfew teenage, like we're not even there yet. Right now, we're just kind of at the, I think the typical stuff, hygiene, both for her room and for her person, attitude, things that you want to kind of corral before you get to all of those teenage stages. And was feeling very overwhelmed and was feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to make this work. So there's different layers. And she had she had a difficult 8th grade year. And so she's in high school now. And the boys are coming at her because she's beautiful. And so, there's things that we worked on in 8th grade that prepared her for 9th grade. But there's conversations that we need to have that I'm still going to God too. I'm just not going to him in a prayer format yet. Because I'm like, God, how do I have this conversation? And then he might reveal something that's happening in her life, right? So we got to work on math. So she's feeling the pressures of a new school, no friends. She's struggling in math. You see what I'm saying? So the prayer doesn't start with God, help me with Anaya. The prayer becomes, reveal to me all that she may be dealing with that could be creating this symptom of a dirty room. Because the dirty room isn't just laziness. Sometimes the dirty room is anxiety. Sometimes the dirty room is overwhelm. Sometimes the dirty room is the inability to express emotions. Sometimes it's her life playing out. So I'm like, I need you to reveal these things. And then I need you to strategically show me how to address these things. Right. So I'm still asking him, but I haven't even gotten to the prayer yet. So then I know I can have this conversation. Okay, I can talk to her dad about this. Okay, I can talk to my brother about this because he's had 4 girls. So 5 now. So let me ask him about this because this is new. She's my only girl and I've never had a 14-year-old girl. So let me ask him because he's done this several times. Okay, now I got some wisdom in the first one. I got some wisdom in the second one. I think I've journaled some conversation ideas that I think I could lead with okay, God, I think I want to talk to her this day because she's not busy. If she needs to process, she'll have the space to do that. And she doesn't have to think about school. So it has to be a weekend day. Okay. If you're tracking, I've now asked for exposure of her life, for him to reveal that to me. I've now, second level, consulted people who are an important part of her life to get support and understanding. And now I'm asking for timing. So I have context, I have support, and now I have timing. 3 levels. Now my prayer is, God, help me address this first, this second, this third. Her dad is going to tag team me on this one, and then show me how to implement what my brother shared with me about his parenting tactic for this issue. And we're going to talk on this date. So Lord, give me the words to say in that moment, and then prepare my heart and her heart leading up to this conversation. Because what the fast has shown me is that when you leave things willy-nilly, you do open up portals. You do open up the ability for the devil to come in, because he's eavesdropping on everything I'm asking God. I saw this on a post where it was like, so God has been around since the beginning of time. And then he makes Lucifer the angel. He falls. He's been around since the fall. So God has been around since the beginning of time. The devil falls. He's been around since that time. Like he's had thousands of years of practice. So why would I then leave all of these access points open instead of trying to shore them up as best as I can? That's why I say, when you're specific in your prayer, you close the portal. You close the gap to the portal. So he can't even get a foothold. When your prayers are just like very general, very broad, and not specific, well, you're praying these big prayers, right? But then if you get clear and you know what you're going to God for, well, then you start to close how much access, because now you're sure that you heard God. But when you're just like, God, please help me. And even though God knows what's going on in your life, he still desires for you to bring those things to him specifically. So now we're here, and now there's all these access points into our life. So it's just taught me to have a way of praying, or a way of going about and seeking prayer, and asking the questions leading up to the specific things that I need prayer. Like, I need you to help me with this, and this. And that's how it shifted it.
Listen, I hear one word, and you said all of that. Intentionality. Intentional. God like drilled that into us so much during the third corporate phase. Intentional prayers. And it goes back to what the Lord has told me, is that he's making us snipers in the spirit. Making us snipers in the spirit, where you could just go and, shoot out your prayer, shoot out your cannonball. A cannon is very powerful. It can blow up a lot of stuff, but it's not accurate.
Right.
The Lord wants us to be accurate in this time.
Right.
Come on now.
Just saying.
Glory. All right, Ayana, is there anything else that God is laying on your heart to share with us, to share with the people of God concerning the Surrender Your Ear 21-day hearing fast with the Holy Spirit?
I think it's just this one thing. There's something that God had me do, and he said, I want you to create a provisions list. I created it 2 years ago. And he said, I want you to write down every single thing that you desire to have in your life, everything, and then categorize it. You can put it in relationships, business, finances, health, fun, family, however you want to break it up. Just make that list. And I want you to put the column of the things, and then I just want you to put the date that it answered, and then I want you to put what happened. Like, those are the 3 columns: the list, the date that it's answered, and how it was answered. And I would say do that for now, maybe between now and the end of the year, or you can do it for 2025, of what you're believing God to do, of what you hope he can do in your life, and just watch him work. Surrender that. Hear from him. Because I'm still working on that list, and I'm still watching him provide. And I go back and I'm like, God, I forgot I even wanted that. And he's still working. And then don't reject it when it comes. If it don't come with what you look like because you weren't specific, be specific. That's it.
Be specific. Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to be waiting on that journal. That's what I hear when you said it. A provisions journal. We need it.
Yeah.
We need it.
That's the vision board party right there. Write your provision.
Come on. I love it. I love it. But woman of God, I thank you so much. You have given us, a 12-course meal up in here. And I love it. I'm so appreciative of you, of everything that God is doing in your life. I'm so glad that you were able to open up and share, be vulnerable about some of those things that you've been going through, how the Lord is just strengthening you. Even some of the, the moments we don't want to share, those are the hard moments. But they always, there's somebody who needs it. I just found that when the Lord is really impressing upon my heart to share something specific, it's because it needed to be released. Mm-hmm. There's somebody coming for that. I can't wait. Y'all send us y'all testimonies. Don't hold down on your testimonies. When you see this, you let us know.
Right.
You let us know, because we waiting to hear.
Right. That part.
Glory to God. Well, thank you so much, woman of God. I look forward to seeing you. We'll be seeing you real soon. Mm-hmm. Next week. When we start this fast now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a great night.
All right. Thank you. You too. Bye.
My God, y'all. Y'all, if you don't have your pen, your paper, your journal, your ear, your heart attuned to the Lord, please do so. Please do so. Thank you so much for everybody who joined us today with this powerful, dynamic video testimonial with Ayana Henderson, a generational change agent. She told us a little bit about her ministry, Warrior Womanhood. So please make sure that you follow her on social media. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. I don't know if you're on TikTok, Ayana, but if so, put it in the, just let us know in the comments that you're on TikTok. But just make sure you follow this woman of God. She is definitely in the vein of God in this area of mental health, emotional healing for women, and specifically Black women. And so thank you again, Ayana, for your testimony. Y'all, as we were sharing, we have one final corporate fast of the 2024 calendar year. It is coming up upon us. It is next week, December the 3rd. 2024 to December 24th of 2024. We're going to be meeting daily via Zoom at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come join us, because as I have reiterated in all of these video testimonials, when you come to this video testimonial broadcast, or a broadcast of something that I'm briefly sharing of one of the moments from the corporate fast, you are only simply getting breadcrumbs. And it is God's desire that you eat the whole scroll, that you eat the whole roll. So come join us. Don't be on the outside looking in. Come in and receive everything that the Lord has for you, and continue to surrender your ear. Surrender your ear is surrendering your whole life to the Lord. And this is a time of urgency where you must hear the Lord. And so position yourself. Make yourself available to prepare to hear everything that God wants to tell you and share with you in this time. Make him a priority. And so God bless you all. This concludes our video testimonials for our third corporate fast. So God bless you. God keep you. My prayer is that you stay in a posture of surrender with the Lord. I love you. God bless you. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of Restore Heart TD.
Life is a journey, and there are many moments. Some moments are smooth. You flow through them effortlessly. There are other moments when life's challenges interrupt your momentum, yet you find the strength to get back on track, to keep moving. So even if you have to crawl to make it there, do it, because victory belongs to you. You are equipped to handle every part of the journey. You were created to overcome this. Don't give up. I love you.